at this point, I'm going to record myself as if, well, as if it's not me or something, right? Because I'm going to just try to be as curious as possible, right? Not self-protective or anything like that, right? At this point, the more I guard myself, the more, I don't know, life just, whatever. There's no, I don't know, guard myself. I don't even know what that means. I don't. But I was just thinking, right? What if there is no higher power, right? What if the higher power in this world is you all, right? Collectively, the world outside of me, let's say I am a part of God, right? And the rest of God is outside of me. Seems pretty simple. And yet, I hide myself from God until I'm ready, or until I'm, confident enough, or brave enough, or whatever, right? I'm like, okay, well, so I like to think, I think a lot of us like to think, that there's this invisible source. And there may be. I believe in lots of things. I have a very open mind, so I'm also very willing to listen to any other outside perspective. Yeah. I'm gonna start charging my phone so I can be on here as long as I want to without worrying about that. But yeah, today it's like, what if all the time you spend talking to God by yourself is wasted? Just, right? I throw out all these other options to everything else. Imagination, meditation, whatever. There's so many things, right? And like, okay, I can meditate. And manifestation, right? The whole like, well, I'm going to manifest this so that it becomes in my life, right? Whatever. So if I can do that, why, today is just something that I was like, well, what if God, what if I don't have a higher source, that is me on a different planet, or me, what if there's not a God, right? What if God split up and, collectively all power to it. So I would be like one, tiny, whatever, right, part. But what if I have not been getting, the benefits of it all because I've been, keeping it all to myself, thinking that there's this God in me or something that can, or that there's this, okay, yeah, right? I'm like, oh yeah, I'll put that on YouTube when, whatever, I'll feel, blah. Just, there's so many different protective things that we do, or I do. Yeah. And it might be this like spiritual bypassing to think that, well, if I pray, or if I do this for my God, he'll, or she, or whoever it is, I'll get to know myself better. I'll be able to focus on what I actually want, right? When, I don't know, it's just, what if I haven't considered that, the world in its entirety, the universe, is the God. The other part that's not me. The other part that's not me. Could be God, right? You know? I've kind of thought about it that way in a little bit, like as if I'm talking to another person. I think that God is in them, you know. I could be speaking to the God that's in them. I could be speaking to God, part of God that was broken up or whatever, or nature. God can be found in nature and the energy and all that. But what about the parts that I, don't enjoy sharing myself with? Maybe that's maybe I've been looking at things, out of self-preservation rather than actually believing that God literally exists in everything that's outside of me. Collectively, Does that make sense? Yeah, it's just the way I'm trying to describe what it even feels like or means, or there's certain things that just whatever. Yeah. And like when I put things on Facebook or YouTube or things, right? We put the best parts of ourselves out there, right? That wasn't me, actually. I would put things out there that most people would be like embarrassed of, or I would just put my heart out, I really would. And I would put things that I hated. I'd be like, I'd take pictures and I would take the gross pictures, and then I would say how I really felt about them. I'd put my most, just extreme emotions, anger or disgust or whatever they were, whatever I was feeling, just my heart would just be out there, right? Or if I felt numb, right? And then certain relationships, I'm going to pause for, well, I'm not going to pause, but I'll take you with me so that you can see that I have to shut this other phone alarm off. And then, a significant, relationship came into my life. That I wanted. I wanted this relationship. Probably for my kitten. Oh no, I can't. Literally looks dead. But yeah, probably for like, the I wouldn't say like for the first time, right? But I really idolized this person. I really idolize them, when normally I don't. Normally, there are so many things that humanize a person to me. Not in a bad way, right? It's just, okay. I can see the humanity in most people. And it actually allows me to be like quite friendly with a lot of people. That's, it's not a bad thing. My family has given me a hard time for befriending people, who seem out of place, or for so many reasons, honestly. There's so many reasons I don't even understand. I don't even understand anymore. I used to think I understood it. Like, oh, okay, they're not Christians. Oh, okay, yes. Or, oh, they have to be somewhat attractive and attractive was framed to me in the way that my mother thought was attractive, right? And it was actually a lot of guys that I did not think were attractive. But I learned, okay, that she thinks that's attractive. Interesting. I mean, it was mainly based on looks, just because, she didn't know the person. And, yeah, so she would, when I was younger, she would, go to my school and be like, oh, what about that boy over there? And I'd be like, him? What? Like, it was so weird. It'd be like this, I mean, now in hindsight, I'm like, oh, he's like a greaser looking dude, like leather jacket, he greases his hair back. At the time, I was like, that's Alex Pena. Alex, if you ever watch this, it's just random. But yes, in like a 5th or 6th grade, I don't even know how it happened, but my mom saw you and she was like, what about him, and we obviously just didn't talk, very much, and I just didn't know you very well. And what I saw was leather jacket, oh, he, slicks his hair back, I don't know, it was just like, oh, he must be into himself, type thing. Now I'm realizing that that's totally just a judgment, on my part. Like, people could totally judge me that way, like, oh, she wears eyelashes, she's so into herself, like, no. But obviously our perspectives change as we get older and different things. Now I'm looking for a guy who, like, puts effort into, like, his appearance, I'll be honest, I don't think I'll ever like the whole, like, greased back look. Like, even when Andy, that was one of his favorite looks for himself, and I hated it, and I wouldn't completely hate it forever. There were ways that he could do it and it would be great, but then you have to have the beard, and the beard in the way that I like it to be, obviously, because it's what I like. If we're talking about what I like, this is what we're talking about. We're talking about what I like. So you could do the slicked back hair if okay, I'm trying to think. First of all, I like blondes, right? Let me think. But there could be ways to do it. It would just, I don't know what my issue is with the slicked back hair. I really don't know. It would just have to be very specific, I guess. I can think of ways where that would be a good thing and I would like it. Paul had, I wouldn't say greased hair, but I mean, but that's the thing. If it's short, I'm just more of like a free, like, I want it to be easy, and greasing back or gelling back your hair, it's like, oh, you take too much work. You just take too much work. I don't know. But that's just my thought. If it's actually greasy and, you can, like, slick it back. I'd rather have it just be long and put back in like a, you know, ponytail or something. That'd be great. Yeah. I just favour long hair. Because then, yes, you just don't have to care about it as much. Like, take care of it and everything. But whatever. It all depends. I'm also realizing that this is, that's all in the realm of, like, people with relatively, you know, how do I put it? Like, not fine hair, straighter, not coily, right? So, like, with people with coily hair, a totally different story, right? Like, oh, I definitely need to think about what I want in that regards, because, oh, my tummy is growling. And that actually makes me really happy, because, I haven't been able to be hungry in a while. But yes, so I'm going to try to put things out there and not be embarrassed of me. I mean, I'm going to be very, very embarrassed, but, and I just don't know what's, like, appropriate and what I could get in trouble for, you know. There's so many things. Every time I'm, like, authentically me, I feel like it's wrong, and I can't, and I have to, like, put her away, and then she can never come out again, and then it's like, okay, you can't be that, so how do we, like, tame you? By the way, I'm going to show you this picture over here, and this is where I'm going to pause, because I have to go to the bathroom, and I don't think you can put that on YouTube, so I'm going to pause for a second. Okay, I'm back. So right now, my goal is literally just to get myself out there to the widest, like, population of people possible. I've spent a lot of time in my life not hiding, being sheltered, being confined, being put in a little box, all those things, right? And as I could, you know, come up with a website, and you have to subscribe to me to get access, things like that. Okay, you know, cool, right, whatever. Possible. Same thing with Facebook, and, you know, so many different platforms. TikTok, right, all these things. Oh. However, there's safety in that, right? Like, safety. There's like, oh, well, only these people will see it, right? Or, oh, well, I guess I can do it. Because maybe I'll be getting paid later, or I'll get this many followers or subscribers, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, well, guess what? That's not my goal. My goal isn't, my goal is, you know, eventually to just love myself so much that I don't have to, like, care about, you know, analysing myself, putting myself out there, whatever. Or, like, having enough support that I'm like, well, these people support me. So, basically, F all the haters, right? At this point in my life, I do not have enough people who support me to F everybody else. Definitely, I don't have that at all. Yes, nope, not at all. And if people do, they're not doing it in ways that are beneficial for my not progression, acceleration, what is the word? Evolution, just, you know, like, feelings of safety, just freedom, I'm trying to think of the right word, I can't. So, I've learned / once again figured out, I don't know, this is, that it's all in my hands. Like I can't wait around for someone else to, you know, yeah. And in that regards, like I can't wait around for the right job. Because that will make me miserable, and that's just temporary anyways. So I have to start doing something that's actually going to help. That's not a temporary thing, but that will actually help, right? So right, what they say, which I've always hated, but well, fake it until you make it, or but I'm going to one step. I'm like, fake it. Why would you fake it? No, you don't fake. Because I hate anything that's not authentic. As far as like being vulnerable, you can't be vulnerable and fake at the same time, right? So you have to be 100% authentic to be vulnerable. Like if I actually loved myself and felt safe and secure and confident and all those things, right? I would use all the resources and accessibilities and blah 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 to like be just 100% authentically me, right? And then I would share it with whatever, and I wouldn't be scared or give a damn or whatever. I would just put it out there. You know, people in the past have called me, you know, courageous or brave. I was like, what? I'm not brave. What are you talking about? You know, where people are like, oh, you're so open about your past or who you are or whatever. And I'm like, the reason people think I'm brave is because I talk to people about things that just, yeah, were in my life, right? Things that I've done, things that happened, all that stuff. And while they might see it as intense, or vulnerable, or extreme, or whatever, right? Because they only can look at it through their own perspective. They're like, wow, if I would never share that with someone if that happened to me, right? I probably think the same way as you do, right? And in that regards, if I'm sharing it with you, it's probably not that vulnerable, you know? Like, if I'm not even, like, okay within myself to, like, talk about it with myself, I'm probably not going to share it with another person, you know? Like, I am the safest person for me. So, like, if I'm not, like, if I'm sharing it with someone else, I've probably, like, at least found a way to talk about it with other people that, like, at least I've accepted, even if it's wrong, even if it's completely wrong, which has happened in the past, absolutely. I've found resolution in, you know, a narrative about the situation that I was willing to accept. Sometimes it's like, yes, you know, I did this, I was a bad person, I did this, blah, blah, blah. And then someone else was like, from a different perspective, from a very, you know, I don't know, maybe older, wiser, just different perspective. They were like, you know, after they heard a lot about me, then spent quite a bit of time with me, they were like, you know, that's not, you think this, but that's not, you know. And it wasn't, I didn't even think anything very good about myself necessarily, but they were like, you know, that's just bullshit. I'll call you out on it. Like, yeah, you think this. No. Not that either way was good or bad, honestly. You know, but I had never even considered the other perspective that this person had brought to me, and I was like, huh. And then once I was like, well, let's see, let's just try to step into that. It was pretty gut-wrenching for me to think about, what if it was that way, right? What if I've been telling myself this whole time, and honestly, the story that I was telling myself was just that I was in control of the situation, that that I was, kind of in power, which makes sense. And this person brought a situation basically that told me you are the victim and you are naive and this person was taking advantage of you and they knew what they were doing and you were not in control at all. Yeah. And it was like, what? No. And it was like, what if? So that's been challenging to like kind of accept. But, I think we gain power in, we gain reference, the more we explore other areas, and we might not, it might, we might lose our conclusion or whatever, and that can be frustrating, very frustrating, to not have a resolute answer, right? It's frustrating, and your brain just wants to settle on something, right? Most people will just, I wouldn't say most people. Yeah, most people I know, almost whatever, anyone in the realms, they want resolution. They want to know the answer. They want this, and most people don't want this. Well, if it depends, right? It depends on what you're looking for, right? Most people don't want that answer. It depends. No, it depends, right? But that's the truth, because it does depend on a lot. Everything depends on a lot, right? But most people's brains don't work that way, I guess. I don't know if anyone's following me. Let me know. But so I figured, instead of waiting, for a entertaining way to put myself out there, or maybe some of these videos I was like, oh, I could edit it and then I don't know, or at least watch it, right? Actually, no, I have typically the stuff that I do, like anything I post before this, I've just been posting it. I think there was maybe 2 or 3 videos, right, where I maybe put some music to it to try. It was during COVID, we all had a lot of time, and I was stepping into that. Yes. Right now, I'm just going back to being the most authentic person, like just me, right? Some people, and I'm not saying that I wouldn't love, editing things or doing different transitions or all that stuff if I had different resources, maybe, right? Or just something different, just in a different realm, in a different everything, right? But right now in my life, I tried it. I tried getting, different things. I tried investing in, the iPad so I can make it, an iMovies or whatever. Yes, no, it's just that hasn't worked yet. I tried investing in a different computer with, and then what I'm recording on right now, this is an investment. It's a different phone. I didn't try to do this, actually. I really liked the other phone that I had better, but, I was losing storage, didn't know how to figure that one out. I needed help with it. Everything was all good until my, until I had, it was just this conundrum of, I don't know, like storage, and I didn't have the resources, and I didn't know how to have them. I really did not know how to have them. And that's what I'm dealing with right now, is I don't there's so many challenges, and I'm just, I don't know, and I don't want to be put too much out of my comfort zone, because when that happens, like, things just not good, let's just say, right? And like right now, even, you know, I don't know what it is, but I'm okay with maybe putting this out there. And I don't know if it's because today I'm able to show up in the accent, and maybe you'll be able to see, like, oh, that's not really Kayla. She, you know, that's not her. That's not the her that I know. Maybe, you know, she's doing this for fun, or maybe she's, I don't know what she was. I don't know, and I don't care, honestly. I don't know. But this is the way that I can come out today, right? And, you know, there was, you know, Jonathan, is it Jonathan, or, no, one of the guys on the Queer Eye, he said, oh, I think it might be, what's his name? Oh, gosh. The black guy, freaking A. Don't remember his name, but he says it's not, you should, I think it's him, let me know if it's not, but, he's like, well, I don't like to call this, like, you know, coming out, because it's called, like, letting them in or something like that, right? Because it's so true. It's like, you know, I could say I'm coming out, like, right now, right? I'm, like, putting myself out there, right? Or, well, this kind of is, I'm kind of putting myself out there, but I'm not. I'm actually letting you in. So anyone that I'm, you know, letting see this, I'm letting you in. I'm letting you into who I am. You know, this isn't me, you know, in some ways, I guess it's me coming out. It's me exposing myself. So I could be ready for, you know, you to attack me. I'm coming out vulnerable, whatever, you know, but I like to look at it that I'm letting you in, right? And honestly, maybe this, if I was doing this to someone who I trusted, or like a very personal relationship where I was letting them in, yes, in this regards, as I'll be sharing it, I don't know if it feels like I'm letting you in. I really do just feel like it's me coming out, ready for exposure, and it feels so vulnerable, and I don't know what's going to happen. But yes, there's so much more that I could share. But for now, yes, I'm going to take a pause and just reflect and try to maybe gather myself. Honestly, I could probably share and be with you all day. Well, I don't know if I could, honestly. I'm trying to, like, be aware of my energy levels, be aware of me. I don't know, this is all so interesting to me. So interesting. I have no idea what's going to happen. And I think I just kind of want to, like, finish it up so I can put it out there and just see what happens, because I don't know. I have no idea. This is so, you know, of all the people that, you know, knew me, or think they know me, or whatever, right? And, which is funny, because, like, I'm like, I didn't even know myself. You know, and so it's like, all of that, whatever they think they know of me, like, it's really just what I was able to show them, given the current circumstances of everything, right? And I can reflect on myself based on different experiences that I have with people, or by myself, or whatever, but I really don't have very many experiences that are just by myself, and that are, I don't know, right? But if I put this out there as if, like, you know, not ready, not trying to be anything, not whatever, right? Like, oh, this was the message that I wanted to put out there today, you know, taking, you know, whatever, so many different writing classes, or or, you know, speech classes. Oh, you want to start with this, and then tell them, you know, what your points are going to be, and then tell them all your points, and then blah blah blah, right? Like, you know, there's so many different ways that I've like edged myself out so that I could be, you know, so I could get to the point of whatever it was that I was doing. And I don't know. I think that that's just what people wanted. They wanted to be, they wanted just for their own security to be interested. I don't know. They wanted to know the resolution before they. I don't know. But that is what I tried to do for so long, and you know, I'm realizing that it didn't really benefit me. It didn't allow me to expand. It allowed me, or it really just kind of in a way made me, maybe not smaller, but it made me stop, that's for sure. It was like, well, all right, this is who you are, you've learned, now you have to make it make sense, right? And or you have to present it, you know, in a way that it can be received by this specific audience or something, right? And I guess at this point, I want to accept me, right? And that's my main goal, is for me to just accept me. And I know that I don't, in so many ways. I don't accept myself in so many different forms. I in fact, I hate myself in a lot of different ways. And if I see myself in those specific ways, I've learned that they are not safe because of other people's reactions. I didn't, when I was being vulnerable or when I was being authentic in that specific moment, I had no idea. I was just being me. And so I didn't hate myself in that moment. Actually, in some of those moments, as I was being me, it was like I was having revelations, and it was like, oh, like, as it's happening, it's this, oh, I didn't know that I thought that. As things were literally coming out of my mouth, I was like, oh, you know, and in those moments, I was expanding. Or, you know, when you're a child and you look at yourself in the mirror and you know, little children, they cry in the mirror and they look at themselves and they cry, or whatever, or they take pictures of themselves and they're, you know, just whatever it is, right? And then, you know, I lost that, you know, and I learned that certain things weren't lovable by certain people in my life, and I didn't want to not be lovable, so I stopped doing certain things that, and I rejected myself. I rejected a lot of things about myself so that I could be lovable. When, you know, in actuality, now that I am an adult, now that I'm quote unquote safer, although I'm not, but I want to pretend or whatever, you know, meditate, right, all those things. Now that I have the cognitive awareness that is what was happening, I feel like I at least have something that I could challenge, that I could have courage, rather than before it was more survival. I didn't realize it was happening. It just happened, right? Like, oh, I can't be that. Oh, okay. Whereas like now I'm like, no, I could. These people don't accept it, but maybe someone in the world will, right? And I've watched certain things, you know, in so many different ways, so many different platforms, whether it's, you know, TikTok or documentaries or just so many things that I was never given access to as a child. I've seen people be vulnerable, and I've loved them for it, you know, for the vulnerability, that, like, simply for the vulnerability, not for, you know, that I agreed with them necessarily, or that it was beautiful to look at, or that I accepted that, opinion or whatever. It wasn't. It literally wasn't for any of those things. It was. I don't know. Maybe that I just valued seeing, a different perspective that wasn't mine, and that's exciting to me. And I'm learning that a lot of the people that were in my realm growing up or now, or whatever, they didn't like being challenged. They didn't like their perspective being questioned, or they didn't like not having the answer, When I was growing up, my mother told me that I could not say I don't know. She said, you always say I don't know, and I wasn't allowed. She did not want me to say I don't know. She hated it, absolutely hated it. But that's what's so great about the world, is that I don't know. Let's figure that, interesting. I don't know. She hated it, and yes, it was very scary for a little child. And if she ever sees this, she'll probably be really mad that I'm saying this. But that is how I feel. And that will always be how I feel. And I still think it's wrong to this day. I think it's very okay for someone to say that they don't know. I absolutely think it's okay for someone to say that they don't know. And I very much so appreciate when people say that they don't know. Because then it allows for exploration, or, at least they're not saying I don't care, I don't care is one thing. And I feel like that's what she was saying to me is, not literally, she wasn't actually saying I don't care, but it was, I don't know, Mom. And back at me, she was basically saying, I don't care that you don't know. Figure it out, have the answer, be perfect for me, because I can't handle your incompleteness. Basically, and it's not what she was saying, but, but, she was dealing with her own things, right? Maybe she felt like she had to have all the answers or whatever, right? So she couldn't possibly handle a child not having an answer, right? She would rather have me have a wrong answer probably than have just no answer. I was so frustrating for her. I was so frustrating, in so many ways. Just, I feel like in every way possible, I was just frustrating for her. And you know what? Then I became frustrating for myself, and I frustrated myself. And, that is what I'm working on these days, is to not be frustrated with myself, love myself, and to just be and enjoy life, and just better, like happy, like free-flowing, like no solutions need to, there's so many more possibilities in the world than these set solutions or answers, or this one way. There's just and so I want to open my mind. I want to open my mind to the possibilities of, maybe people loving me, or maybe there's other people like me that I don't know, maybe there's other people that think like me. But if I never share it, if I never share me, actual me, with, people, with the world, I will never know. And if I only share me, in a way that I think people will accept, that's not going to be that's not going to be me either. So the best I can do is to share me when I'm happy with me, right? I mean, there's plenty of that would be the first step, right? That's the first step. And then, you know, later on, maybe I'll share. I have shared me, even when I don't accept me. Like right now, I feel like I look, you know, I don't know. I'm pretty pleased with, you know, at least how I look a little bit. Like I'm able to look at myself and be like, she's cute, she's attractive. Like I think she's cute. There's definitely been times where I've hated myself and I've still, you know, taken pictures or posted, you know, videos or things, and it was like too vulnerable, because it was like, well, yeah, of course I hate that person. People should hate her. I hate her, you know, and that's not good, because then you're setting yourself up to just have that confirmation of, yes, this person should be ridiculed and should die, basically, because I hate her, so you should hate her too, you know? So, like, that's not good, right? That's not good at all. So, I want to put myself out there in a way that, at least in the moment, I don't hate myself. I don't want to hate myself and I just don't want to put things out there in the world that I hate. Why would I want to do that? You know, it'd be like intentionally painting a really crappy picture and then trying to sell it or something, right? Like, what are we doing? Or going into my garden and yeah, like stepping on all my flowers and I don't know, right? It's like, why would we do that? Why would we do that? But that is what I thought I had to do, because somewhere someone told me that I wasn't being honest if I don't know, somehow I got it in my head that, you know, that I had to hate myself. It came from religion and dying to yourself, all that stuff, right? Basically that if I didn't hate myself, I wasn't doing it right. And I don't think that I want to live that way anymore. And I'm learning a different way, and I've lived that way for so long that it feels wrong when I love myself, or when I even think highly of myself, or when I'm proud of myself, or anything, honestly. So but that only gets me into worse situations. It really does. It really does. So here I am. I'm going to put this out there. And honestly, I don't really look at people's comments or anything. It's at this point just like me, like, putting it out there. And yeah, I don't know. That's it. I don't know if I'll ever get around to actually looking at people's responses. So I don't know. At this point, it's just, here you go, and hopefully it's just putting me more out there in the world, so other people can be more like me, so that I don't feel like such shit, I guess, basically, or that I don't feel so completely abstract or something. All right. Goodbye. Amen. I don't know what to say. I love you all. Although I don't know all of you, so I don't know. But I'm hoping that putting this energy out there, this vulnerability, this, you know, that maybe in some magical way I can have more authentic energy returned to me. And that's what I want. So here we go.